Hello, this is George with Watchman German Shepherds. We're with Fiona. We're going to go over a couple of things. She's getting very close to delivering. I don't think today, but we'll talk about some of those things. Meanwhile, if you would not mind subscribing, if you have not already, I'd appreciate that. I'll say more about that later. But anyway, I'm getting the room ready here for Fiona. She's due today. Today's July 7th, 2020. And so I have her whelping box all set up. I have some things here to help things along. Some towels and face cloths. The hydrogen peroxide. A pair of scissors to cut the umbilical cord. A shot of oxytocin in case she goes long in labor. That helps her move things along. And she's not really showing any serious signs. She hasn't done any nesting. You know, they kind of nest, burrow, they scratch and all. They'll go in the whelping box or in the corner and they'll start scratching a couple of days maybe before. Another thing, I've mentioned all this before, but another thing is that they cut back on food. At a point they stop eating altogether. She's still eating. She had breakfast this morning. And so that's not absolute because not all the dogs do that, but pretty much they do. And so we'll see. Who knows? She could go today. I personally don't think so, but we'll be ready. And I'm treating everything as if she's going to go today. In other words, I'm keeping a strict eye on her. Just keep her by herself. Keep her away from the other dogs at this point. When she goes out, I'm going to stay right with her. And just all those things to make sure that she doesn't go have a puppy when I'm not looking, because that can happen. And so she's been real good overnight. She's sleeping. I check her on the nanny cam up there, and she sleeps through the night, and that's real good. She's going to need a rest. And normally, of course, they get very unsettled, even a day or two before when they begin to go into labor. They don't sleep. They get very unsettled, like I said. They get kind of I guess a little nervous maybe and stressed out there. They don't know what's all going to go on. Something's going to happen. They know that much, and their body is doing things, and so they're just not knowing everything. They just get a little set aside with things. So haven't seen really any signs with her at all. And I have had a litter in the past, one litter, singular. The female was having no signs, the mom was having no signs, and then I just tucked her in. I went to bed. I came out the next morning and there was 9 puppies, all cleaned up in a bunch, and they're all in perfect shape. And so that was an exception. I've not seen that happen before. And so I'm just making the point that usually they will show indications, and they'll be unsettled, they'll be nesting, they won't eat. One thing she is doing is she's having smaller bowel movements. That does start to take place within 3, 4, 5 days before delivery, and she has been doing that. And so that's one indicator. And of course she's due soon. So the average, she's due today. That means it's 63 days, or 61 days rather, from the day after the first breeding. So she was mated, I want to say at least 3 times with Victor. So the day after the first breeding that they had, I started counting, and it counted 61 days. Now that's just kind of like thumbnail there, because she may not actually ovulate for 4 more days after that, and ovulation is the point of where the actual gestation begins, and that's not always exact. So gestation is between 58 and 65 days roughly. right? They say you don't want a puppy, you don't want the litter coming before 58 days, and you don't really want it after 65, 66 days. And so there's a little wiggle room there, give or take a few days, and the the thing is when they actually ovulate, and that's the point at which the whole thing will start there, right? And so she's coming along good. She's doing good. You see, she's pretty calm. She's not panting. I mean, no more than any of the other dogs. She's not in any labor. This is not unusual as far as her breathing. If you're watching, you can see that she's breathing somewhat heavy, but even though it's cooler in here, it's still summer, and they pant to keep their temperature down. Dogs don't sweat. You may know that. They pant. That's how they relieve heat in their body. And so she's, in all regards, really, other than she's started to have smaller bowels, in all regards, she's really just like any other time, except for the fact that she's obviously pregnant. And so, yeah, just some different things there. And I do like to go over these things. I know people, other breeders certainly watch the videos, and any of the information is always helpful to inform people. And then it's helpful too, just for me, to go over these things and think out loud, so to speak, to make sure I have everything prepared and in order, and I'm ready to go, and Fiona's ready to go. And so I think we can check all the boxes here, and hopefully real soon, the Lord willing, all the puppies will be nice and healthy along with Fiona, and they can go to new homes in 8 weeks after they're born, and I get a bunch of people waiting for puppies. And so it's, as I say, it's all part of a bigger whole. And so really a wonder each time. I know I say that, but it is. And it's no less true in this particular litter. So I just want to do a little catch-up video, a little update with Fiona, and hopefully her soon to come litter, and just the preparations that we're making as we're getting closer for that. And so until next time, thank you for subscribing, liking, sharing, comments and questions. I do appreciate all them. I will post a video when she has the puppies. I'm not sure how detailed I'll make that, but we'll see. I usually do record a bunch of the deliveries and all. There you go. There you go. You get a cookie. You should be all coy here. Anyway, I usually do record them, and I put sometimes little clips together, and it gets to be a lot for the whole thing because it gets messy, and probably people don't want to see all that. So usually, if anything, I'll just do, here's the puppy all cleaned up, here's the second puppy all cleaned up, something like that. And so we'll see. Whatever I think I should put out there, I'll put it up here on YouTube, of course. But no matter, I will announce it, and I will show something, at least the after. Here's Fiona with her litter. And those are always nice because everything's cleaned up the morning after, and I let Fiona get a little rest, and I get a little rest, and it's just better that way. And so, anyway, with that, the Lord bless you as you trust Him today. Thanks for watching.